Igor Danchenko, the primary source for Christopher Steele's dossier, has been indicted on a 5-count charge of making false statements to the FBI. Danchenko is the third person to be arrested as part of Durham's ongoing probe. Former FBI lawyer Kevin Clinesmith was convicted of doctoring a document, and former Hillary Clinton campaign lawyer Michael Sussmann is charged with lying to the FBI. Danchenko was responsible for most of the content within Steele's dossier, which was later used to obtain the FISA warrant on Carter Page, and was also included in the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that blamed Russia for interfering in the 2016 election to help Trump. That assessment became a pillar of efforts to investigate Trump, culminating in the appointment of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. Hi everyone, and welcome to Truth Over News with Jeff Carlson and Hans Manka.
Danchenko's indictment, which charges him with lying to the FBI about 2 specific facts, appears to be the most significant development in the Durham investigation to date. Count 1 of Durham's indictment relates to Danchenko's contact with Charles Dolan. Dolan, who is described by Durham as a longtime participant in Democrat Party politics, was actually Danchenko's source for many of the allegations in Steele's dossier. Dolan's role in the creation of the dossier was not known until last week. Danchenko, who had worked at the Democratic-leaning think tank Brookings Institution from 2005 to 2010, was introduced to Dolan in February of 2016 by another Brookings employee, Fiona Hill. Hill had previously introduced Danchenko to dossier author Christopher Steele. Danchenko then began working together with Steele in 2011. Hill would later become known to the public in 2019 during her testimony at the impeachment hearings of then-President Trump. Durham's indictment states that allegations from Dolan formed the basis of Steele's dossier, which was crucial to the FISA applications made by the FBI on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Durham repeatedly notes that if Danchenko had not lied to the FBI regarding Dolan's role, the FBI might have taken further investigative steps, including interviewing Dolan. While this assertion may be accurate, it also appears that the FBI failed repeatedly to investigate specific details or events that could have easily verified or disproven what Danchenko was telling them.
Dolan and the Clintons have a lengthy history that dates back to the 90s. In 2016, Dolan actively campaigned on behalf of Clinton's presidential campaign. From 2006 to 2014, Dolan handled public relations for the Russian government, and he maintained relationships with the Russian ambassador to the United States and the head of the Russian embassy's economic section in Washington, D.C. As Durham notes, both of these men would later appear by name in Steele's dossier. Dolan's communications with a number of high-level Russian officials took place at the very same time that Hillary Clinton was accusing Trump of communicating with the Kremlin. And Dolan's ongoing work for Russia makes it likely that he should have been required to register with the Department of Justice under the Foreign Agents Registrations Act. Information from Dolan was featured in an August 22, 2016 dossier report from Steele that ostensibly described the reasons behind the departure of Paul Manafort from the Trump campaign. It also appears that Dolan may have played a role, unknowingly or otherwise, in some of the more salacious aspects of Steele's dossier. Specifically, that he provided Danchenko with details of Trump's 2013 visit to the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in Moscow. But Durham notes that Dolan, who now appears to be cooperating, claims there was no mention of any sexual or salacious activity. Allegations of a P-tape made at the hotel's presidential suite during Trump's stay were contained in Steele's June 20, 2016 report. Steele's dossier falsely attributed the story to American businessman Sergei Milian, but Danchenko later claimed that he had characterized the alleged activity to Steele as rumor and speculation.
Durham also includes an email from Dolan that appears to reference former UK ambassador to Russia, Sir Paul Wood. Wood famously brought the Steele dossier to the attention of then-Senator John McCain at a meeting that was held in November of 2016. McCain then sent an associate, David Kramer, to London to meet Steele. Kramer then gave a copy of Steele's dossier to McCain, who in turn provided the copy to FBI Director James Comey. Durham's indictment notes a number of other meetings, conversations, and emails between Dolan and Danchenko, showing that Dolan passed along other information that was used in Steele's dossier. Durham's indictment also reveals that Dolan may have provided some assistance to Danchenko. Durham notes that on June 10, 2016, just as the first dossier report was being written, Dolan emailed an acquaintance regarding efforts to assist Danchenko in obtaining a US visa, stating that Danchenko owes me as his visa is being held up and I am having a word with the ambassador. All the charges against Danchenko center around statements that Danchenko made in Eastern Virginia, likely at his home. Durham might be strategically inclined to focus on those particular charges as they allow him to file outside of the Democratic-leaning DC courts. The geographic focus of the indictment may also explain why some of the material claims made in the dossier were either not discussed or mentioned only in passing in the indictment.
The remaining 4 charges laid out in Durham's indictment of Danchenko relate to Sergei Milian, an American national of Belarus descent. Many of the details behind these charges were already known to those who had been investigating the Russia collusion stories. Durham's indictment lays out that Danchenko lied to the FBI on 4 separate occasions, each time claiming that he had had a phone conversation in the summer of 2016 with someone he believed to have been Milian. Milian has always stated that he never met Danchenko, in person or by phone. Milian's assertions are emphatically proven in Durham's indictment of Danchenko, where it is repeatedly stated that Danchenko never spoke to Milian. Milian differed from any of Steele's other purported sources in that he had no actual contact with anyone within Steele's orbit, including Danchenko.